Good morning, welcome back to Buffalo Matters. I'm your host Jim Kelly, and for this segment we're joined by Drease. Wait a minute. Okay, now I'm ready to talk about hip hop. Drease is an up-and-coming Buffalo artist who's gotten some national acclaim with a recent Billboard article in March of this year. Welcome to Buffalo Matters. And actually, I put this on because this is what I associate hip hop with, but you are not the conventional hip hop artist. Of course, why we chose you for a Sunday morning show. So I'll take this off because I also notice that you're smiling, and I understand hip hop artists are not supposed to smile. So what did?
I don't know. It's just been associated with this, this hard music, hard lifetimes, and coming from nothing, coming to something, and then it's just the perception that you have to continue and hold that facade of being this this untouchable, unbreakable, man. Most times, man, hip hop is pretty much predominantly male done. But I mean, it's all in that. It's all the stage. As I got older, I realized that I'm like, what's wrong with being myself? I like smiling. I like to be happy. I mean, these guys get to the point eventually where they're making millions of dollars, and you mean to tell me you still can't be happy? You can't smile? Is it life still that bad? So I mean, it's all a part of marketing and image and that whole sort of thing. It's a stage.
Well, obviously, you grew up, came of age, with ICT and meditation. You just mentioned there's a lot of perception that hip hop rap is just misogynist, it's anti-women, it's violence, it's all guns. And obviously, it doesn't have to be. And that's, because I understand kind of your point is that
it doesn't have to be. Everybody doesn't come from that perspective. Everybody doesn't come from that, angle of life. I mean, there are many people that come from nothing and they're happy to achieve something. And when they do it, why not celebrate? But the thing is that when you get to the rap industry, there's a difference. We're probably talking about this too, the difference between hip hop and rap, in my opinion. Because rap is like the rap industry. That's the money machine. And now you have the marketing, and you have to continue to have this look. Each album, I'm selling myself to you. I'm hard, as opposed to hip hop is a culture. Hip hop is a culture and a way of expression. It's not just one thing. It's the way, it's an expression as Allison mentioned earlier about music being an expression. And that's what hip hop is, a form of expression that just kind of got taken out of context and kind of ran wild for a while. I'm happy being where I am. It's I'm coming from my world.
and you actually are very anti-gun.
Absolutely. One of the things that really angers me is that I hear a lot of musicians, a lot of rappers, just talking about rappers. A lot of rappers say, "Oh, I'm not a role model." No, I'm not a role model. I'm like, well, your videos get played hundreds of thousands of times a day. To kids at broken homes that don't have parents, don't have fathers. You are their role model. So where's the accountability? So the reason why I don't use any of those things, family and run things on rhymes is because I do feel like I'm a role model. I have 2 children, so I have to be a role model. I have to be responsible.
And it really is poetry, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's poetry in motion. It's poetry over music, over cadence, over instruments.
We're going to get to see, hear some of that in a little while, not just yet, but stick around. Unfortunately, without probably too much music, you've got enough melodies.
Absolutely.
So how did you? Obviously, this was not the culture of hip hop or rap that you kind of came up through. How hard was it to kind of make your own way and say, this is not going to buy into this?
It's still difficult. The only difficult part is to stay consistent with what I do. That's the only difficult part because, if you want to be in the game, you have to play the game by the game. And that's something I'm not going to do. At the same time, the repercussions that I'm not, on MTV right now, or, I'm not getting the exposure that these other artists are getting because they are playing those because they're doing the things that they have to do as the term sell out or whatever. But let's not even use that term. But for me, I've always been a responsible person. I didn't come up in a household with 2 parents. My mom pretty much raised my sister, and my dad was around. But so I had the same story as many of these other guys, but that wasn't the path I wanted to take. It's not fun being in the hood. It's not fun. know, so why glamorize it and continue perpetuating when you live, you know, in Connecticut with a $2 million home, but you still say, oh, I'm in it. You know, just to make that connection with it. You know, I know the science behind it, but unfortunately, a lot of kids buy into that.
We talked a little bit with Allison Kane for a second. The fact that a lot of this music is not necessarily something that you would just tune in to hear on the radio, but it actually is background in video games. And you work on some of that.
Yeah, absolutely. A good friend of mine who was doing a lot of management at the time, Andre, he's actually from Buffalo. He's been working in New York City now for about 10 years. And so through him and through our friendship and all my other friends, Trevor, we had a group called Roll and Tell. And we made an album. We didn't have a major release. It was very underground, very hand-to-hand sales. But the music translated well in a number of different media. So it was just one of those things that connected to ESPN. ESPN had a daily video game on ESPN, 2K5 football. So there's some long name. So 4 of our tracks were placed on that. So that was pretty big. I think for the first time, it was probably the first Buffalo act. I know hip-hop act to be featured in the video. So that's popular.
And obviously, we mentioned that you've been on the Wednesday night concert series at UB. I know you've been interviewing about the last and I would encourage our viewers to kind of log on to the website and listen to some of your stuff. But in terms of, we're talking about your touring too, but where on a given weekend is a typical place where you might be able to find it?
That's another that's another thing about there aren't many venues in Buffalo at all. Really. I mean, there's a few. You know, there's sometimes there were Thursday nights and Mondays. There's spots at Nietzsche, but they're so random. But that's what I'm thankful for. You know, WBFO for the concert series on Wednesday. That was just it's a brand new look for hip hop to be able to showcase itself on the stage in front of an audience like that, as well as listeners. You know, the listeners that listen to 80.7, the educated listeners. You know, it was a good taste. You know, for them to have see music without something.
And like Kenny mentioned, even in a place where you're going to have family, obviously that's something that not all hip hop is would lend itself to. So it's grateful for you being able to do that. You are going to have a tour this summer. You're going to be on the Warped Tour, right? And you've got a lot of cities. I know we were talking about how many we could remember here, but you're going to be at Darien Lake July 24th.
Yes.
Okay, so that's something you guys can check out. July 24th, the Warped Tour with Drease. And you have mentioned Chicago.
Chicago, Indianapolis, Camden, New Jersey, Chicago, Milwaukee. Oh, that's me.
Okay,
There's probably
great.
2 other ones.
We've got your, I think